Check one, check two, since you know what to do. Check one, check two, since you know what to do. What's going on, family? Blessings, blessings, blessings. TGIF. You feel me? Today is day 16. We are going into the weekend. Can't believe that this is the recap for week 3 already. We've been rocking for 3 weeks, and I've enjoyed every single moment. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like this has been so liberating for me on the selfish tip, because I've been wanting to get back into my teaching bag for a while, and as I discussed yesterday, with my new business, me being a co-founder of the Creative Lounge production studio in White Plains. I've been behind the scenes a lot, just really kind of coaching and really kind of consulting with my clients, creating content for them, teaching them how to create content. So I've been really kind of behind the scenes in a more of a help role. So I haven't really been able to be out in front of the camera, really teaching and really. This is where I feel comfortable. This is where I feel at home. So this has been very, 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 just inspiring and motivating, and really, what's the word? It's been really fulfilling for me. And so, on a selfish tip, and my prayer is that through this and thus far, you've been blessed. You've gotten information. You've gotten some breakthroughs. You've gotten some clarity, and you're deploying it right away, and that you're seeing some results, or you're seeing how you having a strategy and you planning and you having this clarity and starting to execute, how this can really streamline your content creation process and help you to be able to show up confidently and consistently and with clarity. So this is my prayer thus far. Okay, a couple of cleaning rules before we get into the proceedings this morning. If you want the slides, comment slides, and I will create a space where I will upload all the slides that I have used up to this particular point, including the slides that I'll be sharing with you today, so you can have access to the slides. Okay. Now, also, just so you know, the slides have been coming directly out of all the teaching that I've been doing for all 3 weeks. Has been coming from my workbook, Ready, Set, Plan, and Post. Ready, Set, Plan, and Post is the one-stop shop, step-by-step guide for you to plan, strategize, create, and post your content so you can show up confidently, consistently, and with clarity. Okay? And shout out to my sister Jessica Maru. Her and I both co-authored this particular workbook, and I love it because it comes from such a genuine place. Her and I met at a conference. She has a background in psychology. And she's a self-published author, and she has her own publishing company. Really, really dope sister. And she started. She had all of this stuff. She got, like, she takes a group of people to Africa every year. Like, she was just involved in just doing a lot of stuff in local government and a whole bunch of stuff. But she didn't know how to get more visibility using social media. Social media was like a thorn in her side. And her and I connected at the conference. She started asking, once she realized that I was a content coach, she started asking me questions. I was just giving her game because she was a really cool person. And towards the end of the conference, she was like, listen, you need to write a workbook. And I was like, a workbook? Like, what you mean? You know what I'm saying? Nobody in my industry does that, right? And she convinced me. She sold me on creating a workbook. And the beautiful thing about it is that I wrote this workbook based upon her needs. And what I mean by that is someone who is super involved, someone who has incredible knowledge, expertise, and information, someone who is in the real world doing the real work, but just doesn't know how to document it, just doesn't know how to create a plan in order to showcase what it is that she does. Someone, excuse me, who just doesn't know where to start. Someone who has all of this videos and recordings in their phone, and they're just sitting there collecting dust, right? Someone who just is super busy as well and just doesn't have the time to create content. And she really made me go back into my bag and really create a resource that you can, even if you're just starting, you can tap in. And she created in here a content creation assessment. So right in the beginning in the book, before you even dive in, you can do an assessment, and it gives you a score and lets you know exactly where you are on your content creation journey. So you have a better idea, clarity on how to move forward. So I'm super proud of this resource. Let me show it to you. Like when I tell you this thing is a workbook, it's a workbook. Look at this thing. It's a workbook. Like ain't little flimsy. Look, check it out. Like, look at this. Look at that. We got diagrams in here. We got templates in here. We got parking lots in here, places where you can actually write notes. And what the idea of this is that you have a living, breathing document that has all of your your messaging, has your target audience, your niche. It has your AI tools that you're using, everything that you need in order to plan, strategize, create, post your content, and show up with clarity and consistency is all right here. And here's the beautiful thing: you can get it hard copy on Amazon, or you can actually get it in a digital copy, and you can use the pages or use the templates repeatedly. So if you are going for if you're going for one particular if you're going in one particular direction with your content in this year, or in six right now, and then 6 months from now you decide, okay, you know what, I want to make a tweak and do this, you can go right back to the source. You can go right back to your resource, and you can go back through it, right, and plug in where you are now and the direction that you're trying to go in now or in 6 months. And you can continue to rinse and repeat it. You can print out, these pages if you get the digital copy, or make a copy of the pages if you get the hard copy. Like it is literally a document that lives and breathes in the moment and whatever season that you're in, and it grows with you. So I'll link the information for the book in the description, so you could check it out for yourself. But everything that I'm teaching and everything that I've been teaching over the last 3 weeks now is coming directly out of this workbook. So if you're getting value out of what I've been sharing on these lives, then this is definitely what you need. All right. So that's that. So comment if you want the slides. If you want to check out the workbook, all of the links will be in the description, so you can check that out. And let's get into the proceedings. That was yesterday. Let's get into proceedings this morning. So we have the week 3 recap plus execution challenge, and we're gonna breeze through this. On today, so I can give you your morning, because we're already getting late into the morning. All right, I had tech issues, but nonetheless, we're here. All right, so here we go. Here's what we covered this week. Okay, so we covered day 12 is a 6-minute content planner. Day 13, batch creation, work smarter, not harder. Day 14, repurposing content. 1 piece turns into 10 pieces. We talked about that on day 14. Day 15, we talked about using AI tools to speed up your content creation. Okay. All right, so here was the big idea for this week. The big idea for this week was execution beats perfection. You have you have the clarity, okay? You have the roadmap. Now it's time to create and post. All right, it's time to create and post. See, I'll drop the bar that I dropped a few weeks ago. Okay, information is great. Information is fantastic. But if you do not apply the information, then you won't get the transformation. That's the bar, okay? Information without application, no transformation. And so all of the stuff that we've been learning, all the stuff that I've been teaching you is all great. But if you are not applying it, at least attempting to apply it, then what you're doing is you're standing in your own way from posting that piece of content that captures the attention of the audience that you're looking for, that actually needs what you have. And so you are in essence depriving them of what they need because you're not showing up. And this is why over the last 3 weeks, I have been intentional about giving you all the tools that will knock down any walls and break down any blockers that you may have to showing up. Because I know that there is a group of people or person even who desperately needs the solution that you have, and you are the answer to their prayer. But because you're in your head, because you're overthinking, because you may not think that you're good enough, because you are listening to this self-talk that is hindering you from showing up consistently, they're missing out. They're not getting what they need, right? And so I need you to get out there and show up for them. And this is why this is why I've taught what I've taught in the way that I've taught it up to this particular point, because it is a strategic way for you to get rid of those blockers. All right? Posting is where we want to be. All right? That's our ultimate goal. Pressing post. That is our ultimate goal. All right? So we can get all the information, but we have to apply the information that we are getting. All right? So now it's time to create and post. All right? When you execute, you get momentum. Okay? Action creates more action. Feedback, you learn what works in real time. We talked about a few days ago. While you are focusing on making your posts just right, and you posting once a week or once a month or however infrequent you are posting, because you want to get the content just right, which we talked about, that is a defense mechanism or that is almost a way to excuse yourself of actually posting and actually creating, because you're not showing up under the guise of I need everything to be perfect, right? We talked about that, but I'm not going to delve too far deeper into that. But while you're doing that, your competition is posting and winning. They're posting they're posting 20, 30, 40, 50 times what you are. And what they're doing is they are putting out content, and then they're looking at their analytics, they're seeing what works, and they're posting more of what's working. So because they post so much, they have more of a research field, or more of a sample size to study, so they know what works and what doesn't work, and they can make the adjustments, and they can keep on posting what's working. So while you're waiting for this one piece of content to be perfect, okay, or to be just right, they are allowing their content to get better as they post it, and they're winning. And here's the reality of the situation. They may not be as good as you. They may not have the expertise, the knowledge, the experience that you have. They may not even be able to express or teach what you teach, or show what you show, or they may have an inferior product or service than you. But because they are showing up, and because they are not focused on perfection, but they're focused on production, and they're getting it out in front of the people, then your people are going to see what they have, and they may actually get your people simply because they're in their top of mind, and they're in front of them. So not only are you, so basically you're leaving your people susceptible to someone that does not have the same level of knowledge, expertise, and information, or same level of product or service that you have. You have what they actually need. I mean, to the T. It's almost as if what you have is custom to them. But because you're not showing up, then you are leaving them susceptible to someone who is not on your level, and they're going to get them, and they're going to potentially get their money, get them as a customer. And your people might become their customer and not even have a great experience. Where if they work with you, they would have had an incredible experience. So you see how you put them at a disadvantage when you don't show up because you're in your head? All right, I'm off my soapbox. All right. So feedback, you get feedback of you learn what's working. You get growth, consistency compounds. We talked about that a couple of days ago. Consistency compounds. All right. You build confidence because with every single post that you post, that builds your muscle, that builds your confidence. Okay. And you can prove to yourself that you can actually do it. Like you deserve. I'm telling you, when I hit my first 1,000 followers, it took me forever to do it. But when I finally made the adjustments, when I finally kind of niched down, when I finally, took the advice and really locked in on who I wanted to talk to, and my accounts started to grow, I can't tell you how liberating that was, because I remember saying to myself, oh, I could do this. Like I belong here. I remember I distinctly saying to myself, oh, snap, Pop, like you belong here. And then as I grew, then other creators who had much larger followings than me, but like my content, they started to notice me too. And they started reaching out to me. And this is how I started to build relationships with people who are doing some amazing things. Some of probably your favorite creators that you've come across. I know them. You know what I'm saying? Like we've developed a relationship. We DM. We exchange numbers. We're in each other's phone books, right? Or in each other's phones, right? And I've been able to really kind of connect and build some meaningful, really dope relationships with these individuals simply because I showed up. So I'm telling you, the power of growing your confidence and posting and allowing that to feed you, it's indescribable. It's absolutely indescribable. Okay. And lastly, when you execute, you get results. Okay. Content doesn't work if you don't post it, period. You can't have it both ways. We can't say that we want results. We can't say that we want to grow. We can't say that we want more people to know about our brand and our business or our product or our service. We can't say that we want to actually help people if we can't say that we want the subscribers, we want the followers. We can't say that if we're not willing to post. Okay. So here's what we're looking at this weekend. This weekend, my challenge to you is to put it all into action. All right, we've been rocking for 3 weeks now. So if you are just tuning into this particular live, all good. Salute. It's so good to have you. I appreciate you. But you're gonna have to go back to day 2 and work your way all the way up to day 16. Okay, all the way up to today. Because there's so much gain. But we have laid out a roadmap for you to follow. All right. And if you follow that roadmap, you're going to be able to put all of that together. And when you put it all together and you deploy what I've been teaching you and you make it your own and you fashion it and shape it so it's custom to your niche, to your product, to your service, to your knowledge, expertise, and information, and it's in your own voice, and you begin to deploy that content, I promise you, the feeling that you're going to get, the assurance that you're going to feel, the surety that you're going to feel is unmatched. It really, really is. I promise you, it really, really is. Okay? So I want you to use everything you learned this week to create and post. This entire week, I only discussed execution, only to give you frameworks that help you to execute easier. I gave you AI tools yesterday that I use that are going to help you to create content faster. I also gave you a framework on that you can use and implement to keep you from overthinking your content. Everything that you could possibly run into and convince yourself or talk yourself into or out of. I literally created a framework and shared with you a framework that will free you of that. Okay, I love liberate because that's going to be a word I continue to use because I want you to be liberated. Okay. All right. So here's our execution checklist. Number one, I want you to use a 6-minute planner to create your post, which we talked about day 12. So you can go back to day 12 and check that out. I want you to schedule and batch creation session. We talked about that on day 13. All right. You can go back to day 13 and check that out. Repurpose one piece of content into 3 formats. We talked about that in day 14. Okay. And try one AI tool to speed up your content creation. We talked about that yesterday. All right. And I want you to complete this by Sunday. Okay. That gives you a whole 2 days. And that, I'm telling you, that right there, if you use the 6-minute planner, then you set aside, you schedule for yourself a batch content creation day, right? That's a Sunday or a day off, and you invest 2 hours, 3 hours. You connect with your content pillars. I believe we talked about content pillars last week in week 2. I don't remember what day, but I told you, I shared with you my content pillar method that you can use to create content pillars, which are going to be foundational. There's going to be the pillars, or the 3 to 5 concepts, or 3 to 5 ideas, or with 3 to 5 topics that you're going to be talking about on your page, that you're going to be creating your content around. So if you do your batch recording of your content, and then you batch record your content, you schedule that content out, right then and there, you're cooking. Okay. Then you schedule that thing out, and then what you can do is you can then look for a piece of content or a couple of pieces of content that you've posted that did well. And what I mean do well, and that's relative to everybody, but if you've gotten 10 views, right, or 10 likes on the majority of your posts, but on 2 or 3 of your posts, you've gotten 20 likes, or you've gotten 30 likes, and you've gotten 110 views, or whatever. Those are pieces of content that did well. So I want you to repurpose those particular pieces of content, meaning I want you to repost them. Particularly if you haven't posted them in a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, I want you to repost that, because clearly it did well. So if you want to put another, little bit of a little extra sauce on it, if you want to switch up the caption, if you want to do a little something extra to it, you can, but you don't necessarily have to. All right. Also, you can take that same piece of content that worked, if it was a video, let's say if it was a reel, and you can pull a quote out of it and create a quote graphic that you can post. That's another piece of content off of that one piece of content, right? Another format of content based upon that one piece of content. And then whatever the subject matter of that video is, maybe you can create a carousel post. If we're talking about Instagram, you can create a carousel post that is directly that using the information from that particular video, and you create a carousel post out of it, right? So now, just like that, you have a repurpose of a video, which is one piece of content. You then have a carousel post that you got from the information that nails down the information in that particular video. And you also have if you pull a quote out of it or a takeaway out of it, and you create a graphic out of it, then that's 3 pieces of content from one piece of content, right? We talked about the milk method on day 14. And you can use an AI tool, one of the AI tools that I told you about yesterday, to help you to create those different formats quickly. All right. And then, so doing that before Sunday is most certainly feasible if you follow the blueprint that was laid out for you. All right. And last but certainly not least, the execution sprinter, the action plan, or the action step is the execution sprint. Okay. So this weekend, One, you wanna complete your execution checklist. Okay, the execution checklist is here. This is our execution checklist. All right, and you could literally follow it in this order. You can literally follow it in that order. And yeah. So complete your execution checklist. Okay, create and post at least 5 pieces of content. All right, and tag me so I can see your work. So if you're posting it on, if you're post whatever platform that you're posting it on, I'm on YouTube right now. I'm on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook like that. I'm gonna be honest with you, but because my post from um my post from Instagram automatically, I have it automatically post over to Facebook, so I'm posting there, but I'm not really active there. But I'm really active on Instagram. I'm really active on TikTok. I'm getting back into Meta. I'm getting back into Threads. I'm not on X. So if you're posting on any of those platforms on YouTube, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, tag me. Tag me in the. I want you to tag me when you post because I want to see your work. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm going to share your work on my stories and shout you out. You know what I mean? Because you're doing the work. So what I want you to do, if you about that life, I want you to drop execution challenge accepted in the comments. Execution challenge accepted in the comments so we can get to work this weekend. All right. So next week, we gonna get deeper. Right? We gonna get deeper next week. I got a whole man next week. Let me see. Matter of fact, let me see what we covering next week. Hold on a second, right quick. Let me see what we covering next week. All right. If I can. Okay, there we go. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to get to my information here. Okay. All right. I'm sorry, this is moving super slow. But okay. So next week, all right, next week we are going to be talking about. So our theme for next week is we are going to be talking about how to amplify, how to test and engage our content. Okay, so this is going to teach us how to maximize our content's impact. Okay, so now that we have talked about how to create the content, how to plan our content, how to execute, and now that we also got clear on who it is that we're talking about, our niche, all of that stuff. We got all of that stuff in our tool bag. Now we are going to focus on how to amplify our content. Once we post it, we're going to learn how to amplify it so that this way we'll be able to maximize the effect and the impact of this content that we're posting. Because listen, you might have thought that just posting it, right, was going to be it. No, there is a whole other side that we're going to explore. There's a whole other side that I'm gonna put you on to, that you will then have a checklist, and you will have you'll have a way to gauge or have something to reference in order to make sure that you are maximizing and optimizing the impact of your content. All right. So the theme is going to be amplified. We're going to test. We're going to engage. Right. We're going to help our audience take their content to the next level. Okay. All right. So that's what I'm going to teach you and teach you how to do for your audience, right? So we're going to learn how to, we talked about analyzing what worked, looking into our insights, really being able to dial in what's working, what's not working, so we can produce more of what's working. And also we're going to be diving into how, once we have learned how to amplify our content and we can analyze our engagement via our insights and lock in what's working, we're going to then use that content to create more of the same type of content that works. And through that, we're going to be then leveraging that visibility and talking about how to build a genuine community. All right. So we got some work. We got some work that we're going to do. So this is why, even though my original thought was to only go to the end of the month, there's so much more that I got to teach you. There's so much more there's so much more. And so this is why we're going to keep going with these lives. All right. So this is the end of the month, but we're going to get right back to it at the beginning of next month. All right. So thank you so much for tapping in with your boy. Truly appreciate you. Let me pray over you and your business. Father, we thank you so very much for my brother and my sister on the other end of this live. I thank you for them coming here. I thank you for their thirst for learning. I thank you for their thirst, not just for information, but information that they can apply and execute in their to elevate their business, elevate their brand, elevate their product and their service, and most of all, be a blessing to those who need it the most. So Lord, I'm praying for clarity. I'm praying for creativity. I'm praying that any blocker or negative self-talk, that you will cease it, that they will apply the things that we've been learning so they can build their confidence, so they can show up confidently, consistently, and with clarity, Lord, so that this way they can see the fruit of their labor and the return on their investment, as they have made up in their minds that they are going to show up with content, and they're going to show up for the people that need their product or their service the most, their information, their knowledge, their expertise. So I pray that you will bless them for being willing to be a blessing to somebody else. Bless their homes, bless their finances, bless their business, bless their families, Lord. And I pray, Lord Father, that you will bless their current customers and even the customers that they will be able to acquire through the visibility that they're going to gain by applying this information. We truly love you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, family. Appreciate you. I'm going to see you next week. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.